Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminator 2 wasn't supposed to work. It was too expensive, too chaotic, too insane. The studio went bankrupt. The cast got injured. The budget exploded from $50 million to over $100 million. But somehow, it became the greatest action sequel ever made. And behind the scenes, private jets as paychecks, permanent hearing damage, a cast member battling addiction, and filming across the street from the Rodney King beating. Here are 20 insane facts about Terminator 2 you didn't know, and they're stranger than any science fiction. Fact 1. The budget nearly destroyed Hollywood's most ambitious studio. James Cameron greenlit T2 with an $80 million budget that crept up to $102 million, making it the most expensive movie in history. Coralco executives thought they were screwed when costs spiraled beyond projections. Even after T2 made $520 million worldwide, Coralco posted a $91 million loss in 1991's first 9 months due to massive interest payments and distribution costs. The studio went bankrupt in 1995, never recovering from the financial strain. Cameron's vision required cutting-edge liquid metal CGI, massive practical effects, extended shooting schedules, and location fees that consumed money daily across multiple countries. Coralco borrowed heavily against future revenue streams to finance the production, betting everything on Cameron's sequel succeeding globally. The company took emergency loans against foreign distribution rights to stay afloat during production delays. Mario Casar personally mortgaged his Beverly Hills mansion to complete filming when banks refused additional credit. The movie that revolutionized action cinema killed the company that made it possible. Fact 2. Arnold got paid. With a $12.75 million private jet, Coralco couldn't afford Schwarzenegger's $12 to $15 million salary up front due to cash flow problems from previous productions. They gave him a financed Gulfstream 3 jet worth $12.75 million, paying it off over multiple years to amortize costs across different accounting periods. Co-founder Mario Casar called it a major marketing coup that worked financially while solving immediate budget constraints. The jet deal became legendary Hollywood creative accounting that other studios studied and copied for future star negotiations. Arnold literally flew to shoots in his salary, using the plane for personal travel, family vacations, and professional obligations worldwide. The arrangement helped Coralco manage cash flow pressures while giving Schwarzenegger a luxury asset that appreciated in value over time. Studios began copying this deferred payment structure for A-list stars facing similar budget constraints on expensive productions. The jet appeared in numerous magazines, TV interviews, and documentaries, generating millions in free publicity for both Schwarzenegger and the film. Fact 3. Studio executives tried to cut the iconic biker bar scene. When Coralco's budget exploded from $75 to $88 million, panicked executives proposed eliminating the opening biker bar scene. They wanted Schwarzenegger to convince Cameron to remove the Terminator's introduction sequence to save $2 million. Arnold refused, saying only a studio guy would cut a scene out like that. The scene required 3 nights of filming at the Corral Bar in North Hollywood with 50 extras. It features Arnold's iconic, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle" line that became cinema's most quoted dialogue. Removing it would have eliminated the film's perfect character introduction and Schwarzenegger's memorable entrance. The executives prioritized short-term budget savings over long-term storytelling impact. Cameron fought to keep every frame, knowing the scene established the Terminator's evolution from villain to protector. The sequence became one of action cinema's most referenced moments. Fact 4. They spent $17 million just to own the rights. Before filming began, Coralco spent $17 million acquiring Terminator franchise rights through complex negotiations. Hemdale received $5 million for distribution rights. Producer Gail Ann Hurd got $5 million for her producer credits, plus $7 million in additional legal fees and incidental costs. Mario Casar called it the most difficult deal Coralco ever conducted, due to multiple parties owning different aspects. The rights cost exceeded Cameron's original Terminator budget of $6.4 million by nearly 3 times. Legal negotiations lasted 8 months with contract revisions, international distribution complexities, and profit participation agreements. Hemdale retained foreign distribution rights in certain territories, complicating the acquisition process. Hurd maintained producer credits and back-end profit participation that required separate negotiations. The paperwork and legal fees exceeded most Hollywood production budgets at the time. Rights acquisition established the modern franchise economics model that studios use today for sequels and intellectual property purchases. Fact 5. Production ran. Until 2 days before theatrical release, T2 production continued until 48 hours before theatrical release due to complex post-production challenges. Delays came from rendering liquid metal shots at Consolidated Film Industries using primitive computer systems that required weeks per sequence. Co-producer Stephanie Austin said crews worked 24-hour shifts, sleeping on site to meet the July 3, 1991 deadline. The 137-minute release print reached theaters the night before opening with wet ink from processing labs. Cameron's perfectionism nearly caused empty theaters on opening night across 2,495 venues. ILM worked around the clock, completing T1000 morphing effects on Silicon graphics workstations. Color timing and sound mixing happened simultaneously at different facilities to save time. Theater projectionists received prints hours before first screenings, with some reels arriving during opening day. The most expensive movie ever made was finished with no margin for error or quality control delays. Fact 6. Billy Idol was the original T-1000 until fate intervened. Billy Idol was cast as the T-1000 with storyboards designed around his appearance. A motorcycle accident left him with a temporary limp, preventing the extensive running required. Robert Patrick discovered Billy's image at Stan Winston Studios after getting the role. The accident changed movie history completely. Idol's rock star persona would have created a different T-1000 energy. Patrick's athletic everyman approach proved more terrifying. The casting switch happened during pre-production planning. Storyboards had to be redrawn for Patrick's physique. Idol's punk aesthetic influenced early T-1000 designs. The role required superhuman physical conditioning. Patrick's unknown status made the character more mysterious than a famous musician would have. Fact 7. Linda Hamilton suffered permanent hearing loss and beat up a male actor. Hamilton suffered permanent hearing damage in her left ear firing a gun inside an elevator without ear protection during the Pescadero State Hospital rescue scene. She legitimately knocked out actor Ken Gibble with a broom handle during the escape sequence when he refused to hit her properly during multiple takes, causing her to fall repeatedly on concrete floors. Hamilton's method acting approach resulted in real injuries to herself and co-stars throughout the 6-month shoot. The elevator gunfire scene required 12 takes for proper camera angles and lighting. Safety protocols were ignored for authenticity and dramatic impact. Hamilton's intensity and physical transformation frightened some cast members who weren't prepared for her commitment. Her rigorous military training included weapons handling, tactical movement, and combat techniques. The hearing damage was discovered weeks later during routine medical examinations. Hamilton never fully recovered her hearing and requires hearing aids today. Fact 8. Robert Patrick was battling addiction when cast. Patrick was privately fighting drug and alcohol addiction when cast as the T-1000 in early 1990. He quit all substances immediately to prepare for the physically demanding role that required peak athletic performance. The character demanded incredible endurance, precision running, and complex stunt work impossible while using drugs or alcohol. Patrick's personal transformation paralleled his character's mechanical perfection and inhuman discipline. A Metrolink commuter train passed during his nude-arrival scene filming at Griffith Observatory, creating his most embarrassing moment in front of dozens of crew members. The role required months of physical conditioning, martial arts training, and stunt preparation under Cameron's demanding direction. Patrick's sobriety became essential for safety during dangerous sequences involving motorcycles, firearms, and complex chase scenes. His natural athleticism emerged after getting clean, impressing Cameron and stunt coordinators. The T-1000's inhuman physicality directly reflected Patrick's real-world discipline and commitment to sobriety. Fact 9. Edward Furlong was discovered playing baseball and almost got fired. Casting director Molly Finn discovered Furlong at the Pasadena Boys and Girls Club during a September 1990 youth program visit. His initial audition impressed Cameron, but his second callback bombed completely due to nerves and inexperience. Cameron almost wrote him off the list entirely, considering hundreds of other candidates. Finn convinced Cameron to give Furlong a third chance, saying, "You're going to get another chance," and arguing for his authentic teenage energy. The 13-year-old had no professional acting experience beyond elementary school plays. His skateboarding skills and natural rebellious attitude impressed stunt coordinators during physical tests. The casting process lasted 4 months with over 3,000 auditions nationwide for John Connor. Furlong's voice was changing during filming, requiring extensive dialogue looping in post-production. His authentic teenager attitude created the perfect John Connor. The future of humanity almost had a different savior because of one terrible audition. Fact 10. Arnold pranked everyone. During his nude scene, Schwarzenegger wore the loudest Hawaiian printboard shorts he could find during the naked biker bar scene at the Corral Bar to get laughs from cast and crew. Cameron said the prank incited the perfect reaction from bar patrons who gave the Austrian actor a look of surprise, exactly where the scene needed authentic shock. The Terminator's deadpan delivery was enhanced by Arnold's off-camera humor and practical jokes throughout production. His colorful shorts improved the scene's authenticity by generating genuine, surprised reactions from background actors who weren't expecting the visual. The bar extras included real bikers and local tough guys who gave spontaneous responses. Arnold's timing created natural laughter between takes, relieving tension during awkward filming situations. The prank became legendary among crew members who worked multiple films with Schwarzenegger. Cast members still reference the Hawaiian shorts incident in interviews 3 decades later. Fact 11. The steel mill finale was freezing cold. Despite looking hot, the final battle was filmed at Fontana Steel Mill, an out-of-commission facility where temperatures averaged 42 degrees Fahrenheit during night shoots. Despite appearing warm in the movie, Furlong and Hamilton were doused with glycerin-based fake sweat between takes to maintain heat illusions. They shivered while pretending to burn up in the climactic battle sequence. Actors' breath was visible in shots, requiring digital removal in post-production at a cost of $50,000. The most intense finale in action cinema was filmed in near-freezing conditions over 6 weeks. Steam from their breath created continuity problems between camera angles. Crew members wore winter coats and used portable heaters between takes. The cold affected camera equipment performance and battery life significantly. Hamilton's minimal costume provided little warmth during extended action sequences lasting up to 14 hours. Fake sweat froze on actors' skin between takes, requiring constant reapplication by makeup teams working in shifts. Fact 12. Arnold nearly broke his fingers. Doing the shotgun flip, Schwarzenegger nearly broke fingers twirling his shotgun one-handed because he grabbed a standard-sized weapon instead of the modified version with an enlarged lever loop. He injured his hand attempting the stunt that became one of cinema's most iconic weapon moments. The crew specifically modified a shotgun for Arnold's large hands, but he picked up the wrong one during filming. The painful mistake created a moment fans still recreate today. Few realize it nearly crippled the star. Fact 13. The T-1000 mirror scene used Linda Hamilton's twin sister. When the T-1000 morphs into Sarah Connor facing herself, they used Hamilton's identical twin sister, Leslie Hamilton Guerin, flown in from New Jersey specifically for the scene. Linda recalled, "We were shooting in freezing temperatures in a steel mill and they had to wet us down." Leslie got a glimpse of how tough it can be to do this stuff. The groundbreaking CGI movie used cinema's oldest trick, identical genetics. Leslie matched Linda's exact movements and expressions perfectly through precise choreography, rehearsed for 3 days. The scene required mirrors, forced perspective, and body doubles to achieve the effect. Leslie had no acting experience but possessed identical physical features and mannerisms. The twin substitution saved $75,000 in CGI costs while achieving better results than digital face replacement technology available in 1991. The sequence took 2 full nights to film with multiple camera angles and lighting setups at the steel mill location. Fact 14. The helicopter flying under the bridge was done for real. There was concern about CGI realism for the helicopter bridge scene, so pilot Charles Tamburo performed the stunt, practically using a Bell 206 Jet Ranger. This dangerous maneuver was executed instead of using available groundbreaking effects technology. Tamburo navigated between Sepulveda Dam bridge supports with less than 10 feet clearance at 60 miles per hour. Cameron's team trusted a real pilot over revolutionary CGI because digital effects weren't convincing enough in 1991. The stunt required multiple practice runs and extensive safety precautions, including emergency crews. Insurance companies initially refused coverage for the dangerous sequence until Tamburo's credentials were verified. The pilot had extensive experience with low-altitude flying and precision maneuvers for film work. Cameron filmed from multiple angles using 6 cameras to capture the achievement. The practical stunt created authentic camera shake, rotor wash effects, and lighting impossible to replicate digitally. The sequence cost $200,000 compared to $500,000 for CGI alternatives. Fact 15. Robert Patrick caught up to a motorbike on foot. Filmmakers were impressed by Patrick's athleticism that Cameron described as panther fast after watching him run. On the first take of the T-1000 chasing John Connor's Honda CR-80 motorbike in the Sherman Oaks Galleria parking garage, Patrick actually caught up with Furlong on foot. The Terminator was literally superhuman in real life. Patrick's 4.6-second, 40-yard dash speed forced crews to have furlong accelerate faster to avoid being overtaken during filming. This natural athleticism eliminated needs for speed ramping or camera tricks to sell the T-1000's inhuman capabilities. Patrick trained extensively for months before filming with Olympic sprint coaches. His running technique was studied and refined for maximum efficiency and screen presence. The chase sequence required 12 takes from different angles over 3 nights. Patrick maintained his pace throughout 16-hour shooting days without fatigue. His speed became legendary among Hollywood stunt coordinators who hired him for future action roles. Fact 16. They filmed across the street from the Rodney King beating. Cameron revealed the biker bar scene was filmed across the street from where LAPD officers beat Rodney King on March 3, 1991. And they were filming simultaneously that night. This coincidence linked T2 to America's most controversial police brutality case. Fiction and reality collided in the most unexpected way. While Cameron directed a scene about machines taking over the world, real violence occurred 200 yards away on Foothill Boulevard. The irony wasn't lost on cast and crew when news broke the following day. The timing created eerie parallels between T2's themes about authority, violence, and control versus reality. News crews covered the King beating while T2 cameras rolled nearby at the Corral Bar. The proximity highlighted the film's themes about systematic oppression and resistance. Cameron only discovered the connection during post-production when the King footage became national news. The coincidence added unintended weight to the film's anti-authoritarian message. Fact 17. Cameron's stuntman says the director beat on him so hard he nearly quit. Arnold's stunt double Peter Kent said Cameron was so demanding that he had never beaten on a stuntman like he'd beaten on me during the 6-month shoot. Cameron later found Kent asleep in a chair from exhaustion and told him to go to the hotel and get some rest after 18-hour days. Cameron later wrote a character named Peter for Kent in his series Dark Angel and told the crew, "This guy right here is one of the bravest and craziest guys you'll ever meet." The apology came through steady television work and public recognition. Kent performed dozens of dangerous stunts, including motorcycle crashes, explosions, gunfights, and hand-to-hand combat sequences. Cameron's perfectionism demanded 15 to 20 takes of dangerous scenes until achieving perfection. The physical toll on stunt performers became legendary in Hollywood circles. Kent lost 15 pounds during production from the demanding schedule. Fact 18. The film's success created Cameron's monster ego and bankrupted its studio. Despite T2's massive $515 million worldwide success, it established Cameron's reputation for going massively over budget on every subsequent film project. Meanwhile, Coralco Pictures, which made the film possible, went bankrupt 4 years later in 1995, partly due to unsustainable spending habits. T2 encouraged throughout the industry. The movie that proved big budgets could pay off also proved they could destroy financing companies. Cameron's perfectionism became legendary, but so did his ability to bankrupt studios that financed his visions. Future Cameron projects like Titanic, $200 million, and Avatar, $237 million, continued the pattern of ballooning budgets beyond initial projections. Studios learned to build massive cost overages into Cameron's contracts as standard practice. T2's success created unrealistic expectations for sequel budgets across Hollywood. The film changed the industry's relationship with expensive filmmaking forever, establishing $100 million budgets as normal, rather than exceptional for blockbuster productions. Fact 19. O.J. Simpson was seriously considered for the original Terminator. A studio executive called Cameron about casting O.J. Simpson as the original Terminator, asking, "Are you sitting down? O.J. Simpson for the Terminator." Cameron immediately responded, "I actually think that's a bad idea." Given Simpson's later murder charges in 1994 involving Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, this decision aged remarkably well. The studio wanted a famous athlete to play the killer robot, but Cameron's instincts saved the franchise from impossibly controversial casting. Simpson was at his career peak in 1984 with NFL fame, Hertz commercials, and Naked Gun popularity. The casting would have connected the Terminator franchise to real violence in viewers' minds after 1994. Cameron preferred unknown actors for the role's authenticity and menace. The decision allowed Schwarzenegger to become an icon instead of creating horrific real-world parallels. Simpson's football career ended in 1979, making him available for acting roles when the original Terminator was cast. Fact 20. The CGI effects cost more than entire movies. Coralco co-founder Mario Kassar revealed the liquid metal T-1000 effects alone cost $17 million. more than Cameron's original Terminator budget of $6.4 million, and most major films of the era. This single effect essentially created the modern CGI industry, but nearly destroyed the studio that financed it. The T-1000's morphing sequences required revolutionary technology that didn't exist when filming started in October 1990. Industrial Light and Magic invented new software called polymorph and techniques specifically for liquid metal effects, pioneering digital filmmaking technology. The CGI work required 8 months of rendering on primitive silicon graphics workstations, costing $100,000 each. Each morphing shot cost between $200,000 to $500,000 depending on complexity and duration. The investment established ILM as the industry's premier effects house for the next decade. T2's CGI breakthrough influenced every subsequent action film and created the template for modern blockbuster visual effects. It started as a disaster that nearly bankrupted Hollywood's most ambitious studio. Cast members got injured. The budget exploded. They filmed until literally 2 days before release. But somehow, that beautiful chaos became the greatest action sequel ever made. If you're into insane movie secrets and the wild side of Hollywood history, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started with the madness behind your favorite films.